Good evening, TheoTrade. This is Corey Rosenblum, and you're watching the Theo Nightly video for the 21st of December here in 2021. Not much time left in 2021, but there still are trading days ahead. And as we'll see later in the video, a few things to watch this week in terms of the economic reports and, of course, the market. So let's get started. This is the S&P. That's your S&P futures. And the broader market was up generally about 2% across the board, except for the Russell. And the Russell advanced 3% in today's session. And that's on the back of, or with the strength of, financials, a little bit of discretionary, and energy. We had crude itself, crude oil, futures CL, was up about 4%, but let's come to that a little later. Let's start with the Russell. So in the videos in the past, we've talked about these buy zones. And in the Russell, that's roughly 2100, 2150. If you split the difference, it's about 21 and 25. Simple numbers. Buy zones are not necessarily an exact pivot point, nor is it an exact science, but it is a lean against level. And that has played off into March, twice in March actually, once in May, once in July, once in August. Won't really count that one. And then once, maybe twice, here in December. So those are the buy spots. Those are opportunities to play call spreads or maybe even sell some premium beneath the Russell. The same logic takes place within the IWM, and today's session, which is a pivot or bounce off the lows, we'll highlight this in a minute. It's about the same thing within the IWM, and that zone of support is just above the 210 per share level. What about the upper resistance? That's about 235. What's that lower support? Again, about 210, just above 210. That makes the midpoint about 225. That's the structure, and that's the play about in-out spreads or about anything with probability and distribution. So anything above here is a short sell opportunity, but that is not where we are. We're actually coming up off the lows. And to me, that just returns us to the mean or the midpoint, median. That's the middle, about 225. So that's just playing off in the Russell and the IWM. So outside of that, we'll take a look at the Dow mini futures. So not much to say about the Dow mini futures for me, at least. It's just an uptrend, a weak uptrend, and a choppy uptrend. I think it might be a little better described as a trading range, and that's what we're describing the Russell as. But when you look at the Nasdaq, and that is a technology sector that is tied closest to the XLK, which again is an ETF that is tradable. There's the Nasdaq again. They're coming up off their support level lows. That's like a little support bounce off about this 15,600. So not much again to say about these levels. It is in a trading range. That's about where markets are. It is sideways. These key levels are in play. That's just referencing out some of the key pivots in the Nasdaq. Nevertheless, if you pull the perspective back further, it remains an uptrend as a higher high, higher low, and linear regression. And that's one way to quantify. We'll take everything else off the chart. This is a way to look at trends as well as you set the trades up or the plays for the end of the year into next year. So linear regression, or in my charting, just a default 100 and a 50. I kept the same colors, and that just gives you a structure or a framework, again, like the Russell, but this has a rising trading range because the trend of the Nasdaq in general is to the upside. And that places up off support. In the S&P, it's a little stronger because the S&P takes into account the other sectors beyond, including but beyond technology. So the S&P futures, again, are coming up off its support level, and that's the main play. The Russell, that is a sideways range. That's a lot of lines, but we want to focus on, or I want to draw your attention at least to these sideways resistance points. That's the broad picture in terms of what we're looking at for the week ahead, or this week, really Wednesday and Thursday. Not much on Friday at all. That will be a holiday. But what we're looking at for the next session. So today's 21st, tomorrow's 22nd. This is our Market Watch tab. That's the calendar, just to pinpoint a few things that can come into play. GDP, consumer confidence, existing home sales, and some other information. So that's Wednesday. And we can see that down here into additional information or what you might want to see, how what the forecast is, what the expectation, that includes consumer confidence, which is right here. In consumer confidence play, there it goes. And when it takes place, and any information you might want, including an alert if you need or want that into your Thinkorswim. So on the 23rd of December, that's the next Wednesday into Thursday. So 22nd is going to be Wednesday, 23rd is going to be the Thursday. What is on the play for that session? Durable goods, jobless claims, again, a little more on GDP, personal income, there's consumer sentiment, new home sales, a little bit more going on, and CPI. So all these things you can look at. Again, it is a holiday week. We're setting the trade in motion. Volume is coming out of the market. People are taking vacations early, but we still have durable goods. We still have jobless claims and other things on the docket when it comes to the earnings front. So that could be some volatility within a otherwise, potentially, possibly, additional bullish rally in the equity market. Quick scan of the market tells us which stocks hit new highs today. There's Broadcom and Cisco. And the others I like to sort by market cap or market capitalization. So I like to stay above the $100 billion mark. But again, we're different style traders or different opportunities or different stocks that you might want to play in. So these are not certainly off the table, but they are smaller market cap. So Broadcom, Cisco, etc. did make new highs. We'll look at AVGO, and that's that little uptrend getting stronger. And outside of broadband, we'll look at Cisco and how that plays. And again, that continues the uptrend. So we're still using that linear regression chart, still seeing higher highs, higher lows, and still seeing these stocks, at least these, make new highs. Not a lot. And Apple is another example of a stock that's rallying off of its linear regression spot. So we'll be watching these. We'll watch these reports. Again, what tends to happen on the holiday weeks toward the end of the year, volume does dry up. Volume does reduce. We're seeing that. We saw that today. And that trend probably will continue, but that means prices can be floated or can be more volatile with less volume, less participants, and of course, a little more random noise to signal in the markets and the stocks intraday. As always, be careful and be safe. We'll be looking in this week. We have Wednesday, Thursday, the holiday Friday, and then, of course, Christmas into the weekend. Be careful and safe and active in your trades. As always, this is Corey Rosenblum with your Theo Nightly Video for December 21st, 2021.